So in previous lecture, we have completed with equilibrium part. Now we will start with friction. Now in friction, these are the topics which we are going to cover. The topics are introduction to friction, then causes of friction, types of friction, mechanism, limiting equilibrium condition, coefficient of friction, laws of friction, angle of friction, angle of repose, cone of friction, and application of friction. And after that, we will be solving numericals on friction. So what do you mean by friction? When a body moves or tends to move over another body, a tangential force opposing the motion develops at the contacting surfaces. Okay, so suppose we have two bodies. This is body 1, and here suppose we have a horizontal surface. Now when a body moves or tends to move over another body, okay, so if this body, suppose here load is applied, so this body will move or it will tend to move. So what will happen? A tangential force opposing the motion develops at the contact surface. Now where is the contact surface? This is a block, and bottom side here you can see this is the plane surface. Okay, so this will be the contacting surface, and here there will be opposite direction force, that is called frictional force. This force which opposes the movement or tendency of movement is called frictional force or friction. Now what are the causes of friction? If you see the block, okay, this block has been placed on a horizontal plane, and if magnified microscopic view is seen of this surface, it will be rough. Okay, now what happens is, these here you can see these are projections. Okay, here this surface is having projection like this, and this is the block, on that also some projections are there. So what will happen? What is friction? Friction is due to resistance offered to motion by minutely projecting portions at the contacting surface. So here you can see there are minutely projecting portions. Okay, now what will happen? These projections, they will get interlocked, and because of that friction will occur. Okay, so this is the cause of friction. Next, we will see types of friction. There are two types. First is dry type. It is also called Coulomb friction, and second one is called fluid friction. Now whatever flows, okay, that is called fluid. So gas is fluid, even liquid is fluid. It's not like only gas is a fluid. Both liquid and gas, they are fluid. Okay, so we will talk about dry friction first. It develops between the two solid surfaces. Okay, so dry friction develops when the unlubricated surfaces of two solids are in contact under a condition of sliding or tendency to slide. The direction of this tangential frictional force always opposes the relative motion or impending motion. Now what is this impending motion? Motion is just about to start. Okay, so dry friction, it develops between unlubricated surface of two solids when they are in contact under condition of sliding or tendency to slide. Okay, then fluid friction. What is this fluid friction? It is developed when adjacent layers in fluid are moving with different velocities. Okay, so this fluid, it can be either liquid or gas. The fluid friction not only depends on the velocity gradient within the fluid, but also the viscosity of fluid. Okay, so for fluid, the mechanism of friction is a bit different. For solid, it is a bit different. Okay, in case of fluid friction, it depends on the velocity gradient in the fluid. Okay, and also the viscosity of the fluid. Now if you consider examples of dry friction, what are they? A person is walking on a road. Okay, so he is able to walk on the road. Why? Because of the friction. There is friction between the shoes and the ground. Okay, then a second example is rolling friction. The tire of the vehicle, it is rolling on the road. Okay, so that is also example of friction. That is why the vehicle can move in a particular direction. Then what are the examples of fluid friction? If you consider aircraft, okay, that aircraft moves in air. So definitely there will be fluid friction. Okay, now if you take example of submarine, that submarine, it moves inside the water. Okay, so there will be resistance to the motion of submarine. Okay, that is why if you see submarine aircraft, even the fish, they are having aerodynamic shape so that they can overcome friction. Okay, that shape of the object is important in case of fluid friction, because of that the friction is less in case of fluid friction. Next, this is a very important slide. This slide explains the concept of slipping as well as tipping. Okay, now here you can see a crate is placed on the ground, and this person, he is pushing the crate in this direction. Okay, now if you draw FBD of this, okay, this person is there, he is pushing the crate in this direction. So this is the applied load and this is the crate. Okay, now depending upon where the man pushes on the crate, it will either tip or slip. Okay, now we will see first condition of slipping. Okay, now this is the effort P applied by the man, and this is the height where the effort is being applied. Now if you see, this is the crate part, and at the center of gravity of the crate, that weight will act. Now total width of the crate, here it is shown, it is B, and half will be B by 2. Okay, now what happens is, when it is initially, when the man applies the effort, this crate, it will not move. Okay, but after some time, what will happen, when this effort, it becomes more than the frictional force. Now since the effort is applied towards right direction, so crate will tend to move towards right. That is why friction force between the contacting surface. What is the contacting surface? Crate is in contact with the ground. Okay, so at that contacting surface, there will be friction force which is opposite to the direction of motion. Okay, and there will be normal reaction over here. Now if you see, when we are considering slipping part, it is acting over here, friction force. Okay, and normal reaction will act over here. Now if you consider the second case of tip over, okay, we will be solving numericals on this, slipping as well as tipping. So when we consider crate will tip over, okay, how this will happen? Suppose in case of slipping, this slipping will occur when coefficient of friction mu, this value is less. But when the surface is very rough, okay, this contact surface, this is very rough, in that case what will happen, there will be, the crate will tip over. Okay, so when will the crate tip over? When surface is very rough, meaning mu value is very high. And second is applied effort P, it is at a greater height above the ground surface. Okay, so if you consider if the effort is applied over here, okay, on the bottom side, chances of tipping are very less. If you increase the height, if this height, here you can see it, height is denoted, okay, this is the height. If this height is increased, then the block will tip. Okay, so what is the condition of slipping? When coefficient of friction is small, when coefficient of friction is large between the contacting surfaces, then the crate will tip over. The second condition is, whatever effort is applied, if that is at a considerable height from the ground, then also it will tip over. Okay, why? Because it is actually, here you can see this effort P, it is creating a moment about this point. Okay, that is why this point it will be lifted and the block will be tip over like this. Okay, it will become like this. Next, another condition is, if the width of the block, this block width or the crate width is smaller, then also this block will tip over. Now you can do this practically. Okay, you can take an example of a textbook. Okay, if you place a textbook, and if the width of the textbook, whatever width is there, that is smaller width, if it is kept in this direction, and if you are applying the effort from this side, what will happen? That book, it will tip over about this edge. Okay, so this is the example of tipping. Why is that? Because height is more and width is less, and if we apply effort at a considerable height, then that book will tip over. Next we will see mechanism of friction. So here you can see example is given. This is the bottom surface, and on that surface a block is placed, and this is the effort P applied, which is towards right, and frictional force, it will be in between block and the surface, it will be towards left. Now if you see the contacting surface, this is the microscopic view. Okay, under the microscope if you see, there will be lot of projections. Okay, and when these projections get interlocked, that is the cause of friction. Okay, now for this diagram, FBD has been, this is the simplified diagram. Okay, and here you can see weight of the block resting on the horizontal surface, it passes to the CG. And what is P? P is horizontal force applied, which will vary continuously from 0 to a sufficient value to just move the block and then maintain the motion. Okay, so initially there will be only block which is placed on the rough surface, and then we start applying the effort. Okay, so initially effort will be 0, then the effort will go on increasing. That is the meaning of this statement. Okay, now the next diagram, if you see this one, this diagram is the FBD of the diagram which is shown over here. Okay, now in FBD, active forces are shown. Active forces are applied force P and weight of the block, whereas reactive forces are normal force. Why? Because there is contact between the block and the surface, so there will be normal force and there will be a friction force opposing the direction of motion. Okay, now we will see what is the mechanism of friction. So basically I'll just show you a graph before that. So next slide, if you see, some theory is written. Okay, and after that there is a graph shown over here. Okay, now this graph, if you see, on y-axis we have frictional force, on x-axis we have effort applied. Okay, now I'll draw a diagram over here to give you an example. This is a block which is placed on horizontal plane, and here we are applying some effort in this direction. Okay, now what will happen? Initially, suppose this effort is not there. We are not applying this effort P. Okay, so this graph shows frictional force versus effort applied. So initially, when this effort is not there, friction force will also be 0, effort will also be 0. So we will start from 0. Okay, then as the effort is increased, friction force also increases linearly. So here you can see, when effort is this value on x-axis, friction force has also increased. Okay, now this will go on continuing till limiting friction value. Okay, now this limiting friction is what? It is maximum frictional force. Okay, so here it is written limiting frictional force. It is also denoted by Fmax. What is that frictional force? It is the maximum frictional force developed at the surface. Which surface? Here you can see block is there. It is in contact with this horizontal surface. Okay, so in between block and the surface, there will be frictional force developed. So it is the maximum frictional force. Here you can see Fmax is written. Okay, so what is this limiting frictional force? Maximum frictional force developed at the surface when block is at the verge of motion. Verge of motion means what? Impending motion. Impending means just about to move. Okay, so here you can see, when effort is not there, frictional force is also 0. When if small effort is applied, frictional force also increases. Now as we go on increasing the effort, frictional force will also increase, and because of that the body will be in equilibrium only. Okay, it will not move, it will be static. Okay, so till this point, till the maximum frictional force is achieved, okay, Fmax, that is limiting frictional force, the body will be in equilibrium only. Now after that, if we increase the effort, frictional force will not increase, okay, it will decrease and body will move. Okay, so that is why if you see this vertical line, this part is written over here, it is no motion and it is static friction, whereas to the right of this vertical dotted line, it is at this point it is limiting condition of friction, okay, limiting frictional force, that is impending motion. To the right of this, body will move, so that is why here motion is written and this is kinetic friction. Okay, so here if you see what will happen after the maximum frictional force is achieved, this it has been observed that when the body moves, the frictional force reduces, and here you can see this is Fk, kinetic friction, okay, denoted by Fk, and that is less than the limiting frictional force. So same thing is written over here. We'll go through this so that again the things will be clear. As applied force P increases, the frictional force F is equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Okay, so here you can see this frictional force, as P is increasing, frictional force is also increasing. Both of them are same in magnitude and opposite in direction. That is why body doesn't have any motion. However, there is a limit beyond which the magnitude of frictional force cannot increase. So what is that limit? This is the limit, maximum frictional force. If the applied force is more than this maximum frictional force, there will be movement of the body. Once the body begins to move, there is decrease in frictional force F from maximum value observed under the static condition. So here you can see this value has decreased. Next we will see what do you mean by coefficient of friction. Okay, now by experimental evidence it is proved that limiting frictional force, what is limiting frictional force? Fmax, is directly proportional to normal reaction. So Fmax, here you can see this is Fmax, which is opposing the direction of motion, okay, impending motion. So it is opposite to this impending motion. So Fmax is directly proportional to normal reaction. This is normal reaction. Now if you remove the proportionality sign, you will get a constant. So Fmax is equal to mu s into n. Now what will be mu s? Mu s is Fmax upon n. Okay, now this mu s is called coefficient of static friction. What is that? It is ratio of limiting frictional force Fmax and normal reaction n, and this value is constant. Now we will see some typical values for coefficient of friction. Okay, now friction occurs between two surfaces. Okay, so suppose this is one surface and this is second surface. So mu value, it will be given for these two surfaces. Okay, so that is why if you see this table, typical value for mu s, coefficient of static friction, it is given for two different materials, or it can be same material also. Okay, metal on ice, wood on wood, leather on wood, leather on metal, and aluminium on aluminium. Now next thing, if you see over here, range of this coefficient of friction is given. Okay, we don't have a particular value over here. Can anyone answer why is that? What could be the reason over here? Here range is given, right? Coefficient of friction. Why is that? Here it is general thing is given, metal on ice. Okay, and a range has been given. But if you consider metal, this is a very general word. Metal can be stainless steel, it can be mild steel, it can be cast iron. There are n number of metals available. Okay, so here general word is used metal. That is why here range is given. So based on different type of metal, there can be different coefficient of friction. Okay, even on wood to wood, even though this is same, okay, wood to wood, but if you see there are different type of woods also. Okay, so that is why here in this table a range has been given, and obviously this range is this table has been given to you so that you can have an idea what is the range for wood to wood coefficient of friction. Now there could be some wood that its value of when there is friction between these two woods, the coefficient of friction it is greater than 0.7, or there can be a surface where it is less than 0.3. That can be possible. Okay, so this table it gives you a basic idea what is the range of this coefficient of friction. Okay, now here if you see the last one, aluminium on aluminium, just observe the range of this coefficient of friction. Okay, it is greater than 1. Usually if you see the coefficient of friction value, it is from 0 to 1, but for aluminium to aluminium, okay, this value is from 1.1 to 1.7. okay, there are few other substances also where if you consider the friction between the two surfaces, there also the value of coefficient of friction it is greater than 1. Okay, now what are those values? You have to go through internet and you have to write it down. Next is coefficient of kinetic friction. It is ratio of kinetic frictional force Fk and normal reaction N, and it is constant. So here also we will have, now here since we are looking at kinetic friction, body will be in motion. Okay, and frictional force Fk it will be opposite to the direction of motion. So it is observed that Fk is proportional to normal reaction N. So Fk, remove the proportionality sign, you will get Fk equal to mu k into N. Now this mu k is equal to Fk upon N. Next we will see laws of static friction. These are also called characteristics of static friction. Okay, so what are the laws of the friction? The frictional force is always tangential to the contact surface and acts in a direction opposite to that in which body tends to move. So this we have already seen in the previous diagram. Okay, this frictional force it is tangential to the contacting surfaces and it is opposite to the direction of motion. Opposite to the direction in which body tends to move. The magnitude of frictional force is self-adjusting to the applied force till the limiting frictional force is reached, and at the limiting frictional force the body will have impending motion. Now limiting frictional force Fmax is directly proportional to normal reaction. Okay, and when we remove the proportionality sign we get mu s, coefficient of friction. Okay, so this is the third law of friction. Fourth one, for a body in motion, kinetic frictional force Fk developed is less than that of limiting frictional force Fmax. Okay, so if you see the graph which we had seen here, this Fmax value it is greater than Fk. So Fk is less than Fmax. That is written. For a body in motion, kinetic frictional force Fk developed is less than that of limiting frictional force Fmax, and the relation Fk equal to mu k N is applicable. Next law of friction, frictional force depends upon the roughness of the surface and material in contact. So if material changes, frictional force will change. If roughness of the surface changes, frictional force will change. That is why I told roughness it depends on what? Grade of the material. So even if you consider mild steel is there are different grades of mild steel available in market. Okay, so in that case also there will be different coefficient of friction. That is why if you recall that table, there is a range given over there. Next, point number 6, frictional force is independent of area of contact between the two surfaces. So it doesn't depend on area of contact. Very important point. Then frictional force is independent of the speed of the body. Okay, so if you consider this solid, okay, dry friction, in that case frictional force is independent of the speed of the body. Okay, this is about which type? It is about dry friction. Coefficient of static friction is always greater than coefficient of kinetic friction. Next we will see angle of friction. Okay, now here again an example has been shown. This is a block, and this block, it is kept on a surface. Okay, and effort is applied towards right side. So because of that, friction force will be towards left side, because body will tend to move towards right side. Now this diagram which has been shown over here, this is FBD, that is why bottom surface is not shown. So Fmax is towards left, normal reaction is there. Now if you see this R, this is resultant of Fmax and N. What is Fmax? Limiting frictional force, and N is normal reaction. Now this angle phi, it is called angle of friction. And what is this angle? It is the angle made by resultant of limiting frictional force Fmax. Okay, so resultant of Fmax and normal reaction, that is R, with normal reaction. So this is angle phi. Okay, now if you consider H direction, what will be value of this Fmax? Okay, so if you consider the condition of resultant, Rx is equal to summation Fx. Okay, so basically what will be this Fmax value? This Fmax value, it will be R. Now angle phi, it is with respect to y axis, so it will be R sin phi. Okay, so Fmax is equal to R sin phi. Now what is Fmax? Fmax is mu s, static coefficient of friction, into normal reaction, which we have seen in previous slide. Okay, so this is equation number 1. Now if you consider vertical component, so N will be equal to R cos phi. Okay, this is second equation. Okay, now observe these equations. This is first equation, and in this equation we have N value. Okay, what is this N value? R cos phi. So in equation number 1, which is written over here, we have substituted that N value. What is that N value? R cos phi. So here you can see R cos phi has been substituted. So mu s into R cos phi equal to remaining part R sin phi. Now if you take this cos phi towards right hand side, then R and R will get cancelled. So what equation you will get? Sin phi upon cos phi will be tan phi equal to mu s. So phi will be equal to tan inverse mu s. So what is meaning of this? Angle of friction phi is equal to tan inverse of coefficient of static friction. Okay, now this is at which condition? Limiting frictional force. Okay, when F is equal to Fmax. Next we will see angle of repose. Now understand this concept properly, because this angle of repose and angle of friction you will be calculating when you go through the experiment of friction. Okay, in that experiment basically you will be calculating angle of friction, you will be calculating angle of repose, and we are completing the theory part here. Okay, so you will be able to actually properly go through the experiment. Okay, so what is this angle of repose? That we will see. Now here take an example. This is a horizontal surface and this is an inclined plane. Now for example, I'll give you an example over here. This inclined plane, it can be moved in this direction, suppose. Okay, it can be moved in this direction, and on this inclined plane a block has been placed. Now FBD of this block has been shown. What will happen? Suppose this block, it is having an impending motion, meaning this block is just about to move in downward direction, this direction, because of self weight. So what will happen? This will be the direction of frictional force. Why? Because direction of motion, it is towards downward side. So friction force will be in opposite direction, and this will be normal reaction, and weight is acting in downward direction. Now we will talk about the angle part. Why this angle is theta over here? So angle between horizontal and inclined plane, this is theta. Now to this inclined plane, N is perpendicular, and to this horizontal plane, this W is perpendicular. So since this angle is theta, this angle will also be theta, because weight is perpendicular to horizontal plane, and to the inclined plane normal reaction is perpendicular. Okay, so here and also the angle will be theta. So this is about angle theta. Now what is done over here, this is an inclined plane and here we will have one more plane. Now this plane is movable, suppose. So what we can do, on this plane a block has been placed. Okay, now if you rotate this, if you move this plane in upward direction, okay, very slowly, what will happen? At a certain inclination, because of the inclination, the body, it will move in, it will slide in downward direction. Okay, so there will be a minimum angle at which the body will slide in downward direction. That is called angle of repose. Okay, so I'll read the definition of this. It is minimum angle of inclination of a plane with horizontal at which the body kept will just slide down on it without the application of any external force. It is because of self-weight. Okay, so again I'll give you the example. We have a horizontal plane and we have an inclined plane. Now this inclined plane, suppose it is movable. So you can slowly increase the inclination of this inclined plane and check at which angle this block moves. That angle is called angle of repose. Now for limiting condition, what we have, limiting condition means what? Body just about to move. Okay, in that case the frictional force will be F max. So if you consider this FBD and apply condition of equilibrium, what is that? Summation Fx equal to 0. So what we can write is F max is equal to mu n. Okay, now right side these forces will be positive and upward direction this will be positive. Okay, here our x axis will be this one. Okay, inclined plane, along the inclined plane, and y direction is perpendicular to the inclined plane, that we are taking x and y axis. Okay, now what will be summation Fx equal to 0? Mu s into n, that will be positive. Why? Because it is towards right. And next will be, you have to consider x component of this w. Okay, it will be in this direction, like this. It will be like this. So what will be this component? It will be w sine theta, and it is towards left, so it will be negative, minus w sine theta equal to 0. So from here we can take w sine theta on right hand side and just take it again on left hand side, rearrange the equation. You will get w sine theta equal to mu s into n. This is equation number 1. Now second condition of equilibrium we will apply, summation Fy equal to 0. All the forces in upward direction are positive, so n will be positive, it is in positive direction, so plus n, and weight downward component, if you see, this is negative. Okay, so minus w cos theta equal to 0. So from here we will get w cos theta is equal to n. So we have equation 1 and we have equation 2. Divide these two equations. Okay, so if you divide these two equations, w and w will get cancelled, n and n will get cancelled, and you will get tan theta equal to mu s. Now this is at which condition? Impending motion. Okay, means this block, it is just about to slide on this inclined plane. Okay, now if you see the previous slide, here angle of friction. What is angle of friction? Angle between resultant of frictional force F max and normal reaction and normal reaction. This angle is angle of friction, that is tan inverse mu s. And if you see angle of repose, which is theta, that is also tan inverse mu s, but this is at limiting condition of friction, when frictional force is maximum. Okay, at that condition you can see theta is equal to phi. Okay, now meaning of theta is different and meaning of phi is different. What is phi? It is angle of friction, that is angle between resultant and normal. Whereas angle of repose, what is that? When you change the inclination of the angle, the minimum angle at which the block will move, that is angle of repose. So that will become equal at limiting condition of friction. Okay, when body is in impending motion, just about to move. Okay, so angle of friction phi equal to angle of repose. Okay, in experiment also you will find out this. When you do the experiment, by experiment also you will be able to find out this thing. Now from here we can understand that angle of repose is independent of the weight of the body and it depends on mu only. So here if you see in the experiment part, what you will have is, here there will be a tray on the inclined plane, and in this tray we will add weights. Okay, and even if you change the weight, the angle of repose, it will remain same only for the contacting surfaces. Okay, now this angle of repose, it will depend on what? It will depend on the coefficient of friction, and coefficient of friction depends on what? It depends on the surface roughness and it depends on type of material. So if material is changed, if you have this tray, it is made up of wood, and the inclined plane, it is made up of wood, then the angle of repose will be having a particular value. Now if this tray which is sliding on the inclined plane, it is made up of glass, and inclined plane, it is made up of wood, then the surface changes. Okay, in that case angle of repose will be different. Okay, so it is angle of repose is independent of the weight of the body and it depends on mu. Next we will see cone of friction. Okay, now if you consider here a block is there and block is having weight, and that block, it is placed on a horizontal surface and effort P is applied towards right side. So impending motion will be towards right. So frictional force, maximum frictional force, it will be towards left. Okay, F max condition. Now what is this cone of friction? If the direction of applied force P, this force P is gradually changed through 360 degree. Okay, so block is there and you are rotating this P force. Initially it is applied over here, then you will apply the force at certain angle, and if you go on applying it throughout 360 degree, the resultant R generates. So here you can see this is the resultant. What is this resultant? It is resultant of maximum friction force F max and normal reaction. So this F max, it will form a cone, and that cone is called cone of friction. Okay, now what will happen if this applied effort, it is less than the maximum frictional force? So in that case, if you recall the graph, effort is increasing, frictional force is also increasing, and at certain point the frictional force become maximum friction force. So if that friction force is small, that resultant, it will be inside the cone. But if limiting condition is reached, meaning the friction force F is equal to F max, in that case the resultant of F max and N, it will be on the surface of the cone. Okay, so if resultant is inside the cone, it means that this F friction force, it is not reached F max value. But if friction force is equal to F max, it means that the resultant has reached the, means this resultant is of F max and N. Okay, so same thing is given over here. Significance of this cone of friction, what is that? For static body, okay, when body is static, when applied force increases, friction force also increases. So resultant, it will be inside the cone. Resultant of friction force and normal, it lies within the cone. But for static body on verge of motion, meaning F is friction force is maximum, the resultant reaction, okay, this is resultant of F max and N, it will lie on the surface of the cone. Next we will see, is friction useful or not? Okay, now to answer this question, we should see what are the applications of friction. Okay, the first application here you can see, braking of vehicle. So how this braking occurs? If you see the tire of a bicycle, there will be a tire. Okay, this is suppose tire and this is a rim. Okay, so this will be rubber tire and this will be the metallic rim, and on this metallic rim there will be a brake shoe. So when you press the brake, that rubber shoe, it will come in contact with the rim of the tire, and there will be friction force generated between the rubber of the brake pad and the rim of the wheel. Okay, and because of that there will be friction force generated, and because of friction there will be heat, and the vehicle will stop. So basically friction, the motion of the vehicle, it is dissipated because of the braking action, dissipated to the atmosphere in the form of heat. Okay, this is example of application of friction. Then walking, this we discussed before also. A person can walk on the horizontal surface or on the ground because there is friction between the slipper or the shoes and the ground. Okay, if you try to walk on ice, what will happen? When you consider the coefficient of friction between your feet and the ice, that will be less, so you can slide on the ice. Okay, that is the importance of this friction. Next, belt and pulley arrangement. So what is the application of this belt and pulley arrangement? Suppose here a electrical motor is there, and this is the shaft of electrical motor, and here suppose a compressor is there. Okay, so that compressor will have a pulley. Now what happens, this is the shaft of the electrical motor, and on this motor also there will be shaft of the motor, also there will be a pulley, and there will be a compressor. Where is the compressor used? If you see the application, if you go to any if you go to fill the petrol, okay, petrol pump, there you might see a person who is filling the tire with air. Okay, so how that is filled? Because of the compressor, that is compressed air which is being filled in the tire. So compressor is used. So how that compressor works? There will be an electrical motor, and on that shaft of the electrical motor there is a pulley. Okay, and there is a compressor. That compressor is having shaft, and on that shaft also there is a pulley, and there will be a belt drive over here. Okay, so this belt and pulley arrangement, there will be a friction between this belt and pulley, and because of that this shaft motion is transferred to the compressor, and because of that the compressor works, it compresses the air, and that person is able to feel the compressed air inside the in the tube of the tire. Okay, so again the belt and the pulley. So this circular part, you can see this is pulley and this is the belt. So there will be friction between this belt and pulley. Then only the motion of this shaft will be transferred to the compressor. Next application is lift. Okay, now if you have a 7th floor building or greater than that, there is lift in the building. Okay, so how it works? There will be motor. Okay, that motor is there on the terrace of the building. Okay, and there will be a pulley over there, and on that pulley, okay, suppose this is the pulley, on that pulley there will be rope, and to this rope the lift is connected. Okay, now this is the compartment of the building. A vertical column is there. This is the empty space, and here suppose this is 7th floor of the building, for example. So what will happen? This motor will move, and because of that the rope will extend and the lift will come over here, and you can enter the lift from here. Now if you see this pulley and rope, here also there will be friction. Then only this lift, it is held at a particular position, otherwise it will fall down. Okay, this is held at this position because of friction. Okay, even if you want to, suppose that lift has reached ground floor, okay, and again you have to move this lift in upward direction, that is possible because there is friction between the rope and the pulley. Next example of friction is screw jack. Okay, now this screw jack example, where is this screw jack used? To lift the vehicle. Okay, so if you want to change the tire, what you do, you use the screw jack. Okay, you connect it to the vehicle, and when you give some effort to the screw jack, that effort, it is elevated. Okay, if you consider, if human being tries to lift the vehicle, it is not possible, but when you use the screw jack, that screw jack is able to lift the vehicle so that you can change the tire. Okay, and it holds the vehicle in that position, and once you change the tire, you can again unscrew that screw jack and the vehicle moves in downward direction. So again, that whatever the vehicle is held in upward direction, that is because of the frictional force. Okay, so this is example of friction. Next example are wages. Wage, we have numerical on this. Okay, so we will see in detail how the friction work in wage. Okay, and next example is ladder or rod. It stands against a wall because of friction. Okay, now here you can see few examples are given of friction. So this is example of braking. So here you can see these are the tracks of train, and here this is the wheel of the train, and this part you can see here brake is there. Okay, so when brakes are applied, here you can see this is the spark coming out. Okay, so there is friction between the rim of the wheel and the brake. Okay, and because of that heat is generated, and here you can see that heat is being dissipated when brake is applied. Okay, and brake can be applied because of friction. Okay, so that is why friction is important. Next, if you see, one more example I forgot to tell you. Okay, one more example is there, very good example. If you consider our aircraft carrier, okay, Indian aircraft carrier is there, INS Vikramaditya. What is aircraft carrier? It moves in the sea, and basically it carries number of aircraft. Now, if you see the deck of the aircraft carrier, that deck is having very high friction. So if people who are working on the deck of the aircraft carrier, their sole of the shoes, it doesn't last long. Okay, now one more example here you can see, a conveyor is there. Okay, this is a conveyor system, and here you can see some crates are there, and for example here you can see some bottles are there. Suppose this is some refreshment. Now this conveyor belt, it is moving in upward direction, but you can see these crates, they are moving in upward direction against gravity, but the upper crate, it is not moving in downward direction and colliding with the bottom crate. Why is that? Because there is enough coefficient of friction between the crate and the conveyor belt. Okay, so this again, it is the application of friction. The coefficient of static friction between a crate and inclined conveyor belt must be sufficiently large to enable the crate to be transported without slipping. So even though these crates are moving in upward direction, okay, upper crate, because of gravity, it doesn't slide and collide with the bottom crate. Okay, so this is the application this is how you can make positive use of friction. Okay, next example we will see. Here you can see wage is there. So wages are used as shown to split the tree trunk, because the normal forces exerted by a wage on a wood are much larger than the force required to insert the wage. So if you apply the force over here, that force is there, and since this wage, it is inclined, this inclined wage, it will create a normal reaction on the wood, and easily that wood can be cracked and broken. Okay, and one more example of wages are tapered shape devices. So here you can see this is a wage and it is tapered shape, which are used for lifting or shifting to little extent heavy blocks, machinery, etc. So this is the application of wage. Now this, suppose the A block, this weight is more, but even if you apply small effort, this block A can be raised, because here we are using wage. So this wage, since this wage is inclined, here there will be normal reaction, and that normal reaction will be more. So small effort is converted into larger advantage, and heavier weight can be lifted by the application of small effort. Okay, so this we will see in the numerical, and it will be more, you will understand this point in a better way, how that normal reaction works over here. Okay, now here one example I have shown. 3 blocks are there, block A, block B, block C. Okay, they are placed on a horizontal plane. Weight of the blocks are shown over here: 80 Newton, 50 Newton and 40 Newton. Okay, block A weights 80 Newton, block B weights 50 Newton, block C weights 40 Newton. Now when you apply effort to A block towards left, question is, only A will slide and B and C, it will remain stationary, or A, B, both will slide on this C, or A, B, C together, it will slide on this horizontal surface. Now here coefficient of friction value is given. Okay, now how to solve this, how to answer this question? If you calculate friction force over here, since effort is applied towards left, friction force will be towards right. Okay, so F1 friction force over here, it will be mu1 into N1. Mu is 0.4 into what is N1? Normal reaction. Normal reaction will be opposite to weight. Okay, so it will be, weight is 80 Newton, so normal reaction will also be 80 Newton. Okay, so 0.4 into 80. So F1 is, friction force is 32 Newton. Now if you consider A and B together, what is the net weight? 80 plus 50. What is that? 130 Newton. Okay, so what will be F2 value? Mu2 into N2. So here you calculate this is 26 Newton. Okay, then if you consider here friction force between C, so this will be combination of A, B and C together with this bottom surface. What is the total weight? 80 plus 50 plus 40, 170. What is coefficient of friction? 0.15. So F3 is mu3 into N3, 0.15 into the total weight of ABC. It is 25.5 Newton. So if you see, if you consider all the three bodies together, friction force over here, opposing force is less. So answer to this question is, all the three bodies will move together on this surface. Okay, since the lowest friction force is between ABC combined, weight and the floor, all three will slide together. Okay, and friction force, it depends on what? Mu and N, both. So answer cannot be commented by only looking at mu value. So when this type of question is given, just don't look at this mu value alone. Okay, so if you see this, here mu value is less, so you will say that ABC will move together. It is not the correct answer. Okay, it might happen that in this case it is matching. Okay, but suppose this weight, if you change, this is 100 Newton. In that case, what will happen? At this location, friction force will be largest out of three. So in that case, AB will move together. So basically, you have to calculate the friction force over here at each block. Okay, when for first we are considering only block A is moving. Okay, for that we have calculated F1. Then we are considering AB can move together. That is why we calculated F2. Then we are checking ABC can move together. That is why we calculated F3. We compared these values and we find that F3 is less. So that is why wherever there is less friction, that there will be the motion first. So that is why ABC will move together. So we will stop over here. In next lecture, we will start with numericals.